Most luxury brands spend billions trying to convince you to buy their products. Hermès became one of the richest luxury companies in the world by doing the exact opposite. It built an empire around saying one simple word: no. No, you can't order a Birkin online. No, you can't simply walk into a boutique and buy one. And no, having the money doesn't necessarily mean you'll leave with the bag you came for. By every rule of modern business, this shouldn't work. Customers are taught to expect instant access. Companies obsess over removing friction. Every extra click, every delay, every obstacle is treated as a lost sale. Hermès ignored all of it. Somehow, every customer who leaves disappointed makes the brand even stronger. Every unanswered request makes the next customer want it even more. Every refusal increases the value of saying yes. It's a strategy so unusual that it seems irrational, yet it has helped transform Hermès into one of the world's most profitable luxury businesses, with operating margins that consistently rank among the highest in the industry and a market value measured in hundreds of billions of dollars. So what exactly is Hermès selling? Most people would say handbags, and that's exactly what Hermès wants you to think. Because once you look past the leather, the stitching, and the craftsmanship, a completely different business begins to emerge. One built not on fashion, but on human psychology. Most documentaries stop at craftsmanship. They'll tell you Hermès bags are handmade by skilled artisans, produced in limited quantities, and crafted from exceptional materials. All of that is true, but it's also incomplete. Plenty of luxury brands make extraordinary leather goods. Plenty employ talented artisans. Plenty have rich histories stretching back generations. Yet almost none inspire the same obsession. That raises an uncomfortable question. If craftsmanship alone created desire, why hasn't another company simply built a better handbag? The answer is because Hermès's greatest product isn't something you can hold in your hands. It's something you feel long before you ever touch the bag. To understand why, we have to go back to Paris in 1837. Long before fashion runways and celebrity handbags, Thierry Hermès opened a workshop crafting harnesses and saddles for Europe's wealthy horse owners. His customers demanded perfection because these weren't luxury accessories, they were essential equipment. A poorly made saddle wasn't inconvenient, it was dangerous. That relentless focus on quality earned Hermès an extraordinary reputation among Europe's elite. As the world transitioned from horses to automobiles, Hermès adapted. It expanded into luggage, silk scarves, leather goods, watches, jewelry, and eventually handbags. But while other luxury brands pursued rapid expansion, Hermès remained unusually patient. It never tried to become the biggest luxury company. It focused on becoming the one people respected most. That distinction changed everything. Most businesses measure success by the number of customers they gain. Hermès quietly began measuring success by something entirely different: the number of people still wishing they could become customers. At first, that philosophy seems almost absurd. Why would any company intentionally leave demand unmet? Why refuse customers who are ready to spend thousands or even tens of thousands of dollars? The answer isn't craftsmanship, it isn't heritage, and it isn't leather. It's a business strategy hiding in plain sight. One so powerful that it transforms scarcity from a limitation into the company's greatest competitive advantage. Because Hermès doesn't make its handbags scarce because they're valuable. They're valuable because Hermès made them scarce. And that's the difference almost every competitor still fails to understand. If scarcity were simply the result of making fewer handbags, every luxury brand could copy Hermès tomorrow, produce less, raise prices, create a waiting list, problem solved. Except it doesn't work that way, because Hermès isn't selling limited inventory, It's selling limited access. And those are two very different things. Most luxury stores let customers choose the product they want. Hermès quietly reversed the relationship. For its most sought-after bags, the company often chooses the customer. There is no universal waiting list, no online checkout, no guarantee that walking into a boutique with $20,000 will end with a Birkin in your hands. Instead, availability depends on a combination of inventory, boutique discretion, customer relationships, and purchase history. Hermès has never published an official formula, and that's part of what makes the system so powerful. The rules are intentionally difficult to define. Customers share stories, compare experiences, and speculate about what increases their chances. Some receive an offer on their first visit. Others wait months or even years. The uncertainty becomes part of the experience, and that's where psychology quietly takes over. Researchers have long known that unpredictable rewards create stronger emotional engagement than guaranteed ones. When outcomes are uncertain, our brains pay closer attention, we become more invested, we replay every interaction, searching for clues that might improve our chances next time. Hermès isn't gambling with its customers, but it has created a retail experience fueled by anticipation instead of convenience. Every boutique visit carries possibility. Every conversation with a sales associate feels meaningful. Suddenly, buying a handbag no longer feels like a transaction. It feels like earning an invitation. That changes how customers perceive value. Most luxury purchases are over the moment payment is complete. A Birkin often begins creating value long before it's purchased. The waiting, the uncertainty, the relationship, the story, they all become part of the product itself. Behavioral psychologists call this effort justification. When people invest significant time, energy, or patience into achieving something, they naturally assign greater value to the reward. Otherwise, their effort would feel wasted. Hermès doesn't need to tell customers its bags are special. The journey convinces them. Scarcity creates another advantage that has nothing to do with exclusivity. It creates extraordinary pricing power. Retailers around the world constantly worry about excess inventory, seasonal markdowns, and promotional discounts. Hermès rarely faces those pressures with its signature leather goods because demand consistently exceeds supply. Instead of asking customers to buy because prices are lower, Hermès has created customers who worry that waiting may only make the bag more expensive or even harder to obtain. That's one of the strongest positions any business can occupy. But perhaps the most brilliant part of the strategy isn't selling handbags at all. It's everything customers buy while hoping to one day receive one. Someone visiting Hermès for a Birkin discovers silk scarves, belts, fragrances, fine jewelry, ready-to-wear collections, watches, and home goods. The handbag becomes the gravitational center of an entire luxury ecosystem. It attracts attention, creates aspiration, and elevates the perceived value of everything surrounding it. Most companies spend billions advertising every product they make. Hermès lets one nearly unattainable product quietly market the entire brand. And by the time customers finally receive the call they've been hoping for, something remarkable has happened. They aren't just buying a handbag anymore. They're buying proof that they were allowed in. That feeling, not the leather, is what Hermès has mastered better than anyone else. This is where the story becomes much bigger than handbags. Hermès has spent decades mastering something every business wants but very few understand: desire. Most companies assume desire comes from quality, build a better product, and customers will naturally want it. Hermès understood that quality is only the beginning. Desire is created by psychology. One of the most powerful forces behind that psychology is something known as the scarcity heuristic. It's a simple mental shortcut. When something is genuinely difficult to obtain, we instinctively assume it's more valuable. For thousands of years, scarce resources were usually the ones most worth pursuing. Our brains still operate that way today. Hermès doesn't have to tell customers its bags are exceptional. Their rarity tells the story first, but scarcity alone isn't enough. Another psychological principle makes the strategy even more powerful: reactance. The moment people feel their access to something has been restricted, they often want it even more. It's why sold-out concerts suddenly seem more exciting than tickets that are still available. It's why the reservation everyone can't get becomes the restaurant everyone wants to try. Restriction creates attraction. Hermès has turned that instinct into one of the strongest competitive advantages in luxury. Then there's the idea of a Veblen good. Most products become less attractive as prices increase. Certain luxury products behave differently. Higher prices actually reinforce their appeal because price itself becomes a signal of exclusivity. But Hermès goes one step further. The company doesn't simply make customers pay more, it makes them wait. That changes the conversation entirely. Money can buy expensive things. It can't always buy access. And that's where the real status comes from. Ownership begins to feel earned rather than purchased. This also explains why Hermès rarely relies on oversized logos. Many of its most recognizable bags are instantly identifiable to those who know luxury, yet almost invisible to everyone else. That's intentional. The signal isn't meant for the entire world. It's meant for the people who understand it. In luxury, quiet recognition often carries more weight than loud display. Then something fascinating begins to happen. Customers stop buying Hermès simply because they want a bag. They begin buying into an identity. Behavioral research suggests people often purchase products that reinforce the person they believe they are or aspire to become. Hermès represents patience, craftsmanship, restraint, timelessness. Those qualities become part of the owner's own story. Social proof strengthens the cycle even further. For decades, Hermès has been embraced by royalty, entrepreneurs, collectors, celebrities, and fashion icons. Yet, unlike many luxury brands, it rarely depends on aggressive celebrity endorsements. Its reputation has largely been earned rather than advertised. When influential people genuinely value something that's already difficult to obtain, desire spreads naturally. Scarcity creates status. Status attracts attention. Attention creates even more demand. And then another psychological force quietly takes over: loss aversion. Research consistently shows that people fear losing an opportunity more than they enjoy gaining one. If turning down a Birkin today could mean waiting years for another chance, saying no suddenly feels far more painful. The decision becomes emotional instead of purely financial. But perhaps the most remarkable part happens after the purchase. Most luxury products gradually lose their excitement as owners become accustomed to them. Hermès often escapes that pattern because the outside world continues validating the decision. The bag remains difficult to obtain, demand remains strong, and the resale market frequently reminds owners that what they possess is still deeply desired by others. Instead of excitement fading, ownership continues to be reinforced. That's why Hermès customers don't just own the brand, they often become its storytellers. Every conversation about finally receiving the call, every boutique experience, every orange box shared with friends adds another layer to the mythology. Without spending another dollar on advertising, Hermès has convinced its own customers to strengthen the legend. And that legend doesn't end when someone walks out of the boutique. In many ways, that's where its most powerful form of marketing is only beginning. The resale market reveals something almost no other luxury company has achieved. Most products lose value the moment they're purchased. Drive a new car off the lot and it's worth less. Buy designer clothing and next season's collection replaces it. Hermès often operates by a different set of rules. Certain Birkin and Kelly bags regularly sell on the secondary market for more than their original retail price, particularly rare colors, sizes, and exotic leathers. Exceptional examples have fetched hundreds of thousands of dollars at auction. Not every Hermès bag appreciates, but that's almost beside the point. The message the market sends is unmistakable: demand still exceeds supply. Every strong resale price reinforces the belief that owning one is worthwhile. And here's the remarkable part. Hermès doesn't profit directly from those resale transactions. The market itself is validating the brand. Every collector willing to pay above retail strengthens the perception that buying directly from Hermès is an extraordinary opportunity. The secondary market has effectively become one of the company's most powerful marketing tools, and Hermès doesn't have to pay for it. Which raises an obvious question. If this strategy is so effective, why hasn't every luxury brand copied it? Because the secret was never scarcity alone. The secret was credibility. Any company can manufacture shortages. Any company can raise prices. Any company can claim exclusivity. But customers immediately recognize the difference between authentic scarcity and artificial scarcity. If a new luxury brand suddenly limited production tomorrow, consumers would likely see it as a marketing stunt. When Hermès limits production, customers see it as consistent with nearly 2 centuries of craftsmanship, discipline, and restraint. That's a difference no advertising campaign can create overnight. Reputation compounds just like money. Hermès has spent generations protecting it. Competitors can imitate the products, they can imitate the boutiques, they can even imitate the pricing. What they can't imitate is 188 years of trust. That's why Hermès doesn't need to chase trends, flood social media with promotions, or constantly reinvent itself. It simply protects the identity it has already built. Ironically, what once looked like slow growth now looks like one of the smartest long-term business strategies ever created. There are lessons here that apply far beyond luxury fashion. First, not every customer has to become your customer. Businesses often weaken their brands by trying to appeal to everyone. Hermès became stronger by remaining selective. Second, perception is built through consistent actions, not clever marketing. Every decision a company makes either reinforces its identity or slowly erodes it. And finally, the most valuable product a business can create isn't always the physical product itself. Sometimes it's the feeling surrounding it, the anticipation, the story, the identity, the emotional meaning customers attach to ownership. That's something competitors struggle to replicate because emotion can't simply be manufactured, it has to be earned. Which brings us back to the question we asked at the very beginning. What does Hermès actually sell? Leather? Yes. Craftsmanship? Absolutely. Luxury? Without question. But those things alone don't explain why people dream about owning a Birkin. They don't explain why customers celebrate being offered the chance to spend tens of thousands of dollars. And they certainly don't explain why saying no became one of the company's greatest competitive advantages. Hermès was never just selling handbags. It was selling access. It was selling anticipation. It was selling identity. And above all, it was selling desire. Because the moment everyone can own something, fewer people dream about owning it. Hermès understood that long before almost anyone else. In a world obsessed with making everything faster, easier, and more accessible, Hermès proved that sometimes the most valuable thing you can offer isn't immediate satisfaction. It's something worth waiting for, and that may be the most luxurious product of all.